mean, I understand why the stocks moved the way they did in a sort of very conventional way, but the question is, did they move in the right way?
Look, the market tends to overreact to news. We've seen multiple vaccine excitement days over the last 6 months, and similar trends. I mean, look what happened to, whether it was Roku or Peloton, or, look what happened to Netflix. And then, you saw what happened to obviously Disney in the theaters. There's excitement for a vaccine. I think the reality, though, Andrew, is, as I'm sure you've been talking about on air for the last couple of days, like things have been getting a lot worse, right? I mean, trends are getting worse. Things are closing. Disneyland Paris reclosed a few weeks ago until February. There is no sort of early, nothing's happening soon. I think we can get excited that hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel as you move through 2021. Maybe by summer, things start to get better and we can start booking vacations and start maybe, going to indoor movie theaters. But it's going to be a while. And, there's a long time and a long, cold winter, at least in New York for the two of us, Andrew, where you're not going to be going to movie theaters. You're not going to be flying, and you're going to be spending a lot of time playing video games, watching Netflix, etc.
Rich, I absolutely agree with you, but the market is, as you know so very well, forward-looking. So sure. Think out 12 months from now, and then the question becomes, if in fact there is a vaccine that would allow you to book that trip and do those things, let's not even talk about what happens to the Comcasts and the Disneys. I think that it's almost obvious if you believe the vaccine allows that to happen and you believe that the economy is in good shape to support that. The question I'd ask is about actually the stay-at-home stocks, which is to say, is the growth that we've seen in those stocks, are the multiples appropriate, and is the growth sustainable?
One of the things I would look at just as kind of a signal of how behavior is fundamentally changing is sports, right? Sports came back, and, we saw a kind of a torrent of sports, more than we've ever seen between sort of late summer and early fall. And when you look at ratings, they didn't come back. The World Series ratings were 30% below the all-time lowest World Series. NBA Finals were down 40 to 50%. Same with NHL.
Rich, though,
I think part of what's happening,
was
though,
that a function? Is that a function of a change? Is that a trend? Is that a function of a changing ecosystem, or was that a function of all the sports came at the same time? They were all competing against each other. By the way, there's conversations about social issues in America that some polls suggested were keeping certain people from watching. I mean, is this something new that you think forever, or you think that was just a moment in time?
Well, what I was getting at is I think a lot of kind of casual entertainment viewers have moved away from linear TV. There isn't a whole lot on. A lot of production has been delayed pretty substantially. And I think cord cutting obviously accelerated. Just overall viewership of linear television keeps falling pretty dramatically. And I think the reason is, look at what's happening now. I think Peacock is number 5 in terms of streaming apps right now on Roku. Like, there has been a surge of new ways to watch content, whether it's Netflix or HBO Max or Peacock. There is so much to do outside of watching linear television. I think it's pulling away the casual sports fan is not sitting on linear TV the way they used to. I think that's a big element. But I also think a younger generation, Brandon Ross, my partner, has written sort of about how just there's a fundamental change in behavior where younger viewers are just watching entertainment or watching sports differently. They care more about highlights and less about watching live. But long way of saying is I think people are reallocating their entertainment time spent, and I think there's a fundamental shift to streaming. This isn't just Netflix the winner. This is all of the streaming companies. Everybody who's doing streaming is going to benefit from a shift away from linear TV. That's exactly why NBC's launched Peacock. It's exactly why HBO has transformed into HBO Max. Everyone sees this fundamental change. Heck, Disney's doing an analyst day in a few weeks where they're going to talk about sort of how their strategy is changing to meet streaming.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.